Hi, hello hermanas, what's up with your butt up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to your favorite with your messy self story time. I can't go into depth about all of the ratchetness that has been going on in my life recently. I don't want to defame nobody, so I'm gonna give you a look, and just by the look we're gonna catch up with each other. Okay, ready? Okay. We said all that needed to be said. It's been ridiculous out here in these streets, and like I just hope you guys are doing great and wonderful. And if you're not, you know, I'm here to take your mind off some things, hopefully, with this story time, y'all, because I've been wanting to, you know, kind of bring back series to my channel, things that we can talk about more in depth. One of which that I've gotten questions about is like the whole photos and modeling and doing all of that when I was younger, how I got into it. I knew that I wasn't gonna be like a supermodel or nothing, but so like many other girls, I was interested in getting prints and getting, you know, photos done, and it can be very, very expensive. Back in the day when you were trying to do this, like Craigslist, bitch, I gotta tell you about the Craigslist photographers, homie, okay? By this point in time, I had already had some really creepy experiences myself, as well as like seeing my friends have their own creepy experiences. So I was very picky about any photographers that I was willing to work with. And that was a big part of why I like, you know, would go help out my friends and be all up in the calle and be all up in the thick of it to network, to also meet contacts that I could contact by myself, okay? I meet this guy, Andrew. He's really nice. He is working on a few projects. I had seen him maybe like 3 or 4 times, to the point that like we were cordial and we were cool with each other. And, you know, we became familiar with each other. He specialized in photography, mostly portraits. He was going to college for that. You know, he was always telling people like, oh, you know, hit me up if you ever need pictures, if you ever need photos, like, you know, we could do something, whatever. He would tell my friends, he would like just be telling everybody, just offering his services. You know, we could always figure something out. Just let me know. Just let me know. If you ever need anything, just let me know. Some point comes around where I'm like, oh my God, I need to, you know, do some new pictures. At this point, Pinterest was like, you know, in its infancy, or maybe not, well, kind of in its infancy, okay? I was scrolling on Pinterest one day, and you know, I'm all into like the photography pins and shit. So I started seeing, you know, some cute poses like that I wanted to try, and there was, you know, a gallery of photos that I came across that I thought were so cute. And they were like at this like older Victorian house. A majority of the photos were in black and white. I don't know what it was, but I was like, I need to do that now. Like I had no black and white photos. Most of the photos that I did have were like studio photos, like studio sessions with like the seamless paper in the back and stuff. But I wanted something a little bit more like, I just wanted to get like the like a darker vibe, black. I wanted the black to really pop in black and white photos. I wanted to have like a pop of intense color. Like I had this whole thing planned out in my head, and it came from this gallery that I found on Pinterest, right? And that's kind of like in the back of my head. And so when we had another event coming up, Andrew's there. So after whatever show we were working on, you know, we're just all kind of chilling. I don't remember how it was brought up, but you know, we start talking. I start talking to Andrew, and I was like, hey, like I have this idea. Start telling him about the vibe that I'm trying to go for, and I'm like, you know, like, what do you think? Like, you know, is this something you can help me with? I love this concept. Yes, like I want to do this. Long story short, girl, he was like, yes, like I'm trying to kind of dip my toes in and get familiar with working outside more. So I think that this would like be amazing. So, you know, we just kind of start brainstorming there really fast, and then we continue the conversation on Instagram, and you know, just kind of bouncing ideas off of one another. And he was like, do you have a location in mind? And I did. Y'all know me, okay? I love all things spooky. One of the first things that I did was found out how haunted Denver is. Like, is it haunted? Like, what haunted spots? And girl, plethora, okay? But when I was younger, and like, you know, when we first got here, we went on a tour of the Molly Brown house. And girl, when I tell you the vibes, like it was very eerie, but it was very interesting. And then there was like this area like off of the kitchen, girl, and it was like narrow stairs, like super, super narrow. It was very claustrophobic, and that was the slaves' quarters up in there. And it was just, it made me so sad. When Andrew was asking like, do you have any places in mind, the Molly Brown house came up like immediately. And I was like, yeah, like, have you ever been to the Molly Brown house? And he was like, I've heard of it, never been there. And I was like, all right, well, you know, like, I think it would be amazing as like kind of like a backdrop, even, you know, the surrounding area. It could be really great for this. And he was like, all right, cool. Now, before y'all ask, yes, David fucking knew, okay? Everything that I did was always going through my mans, so don't even worry about it. So fast forward, and it's time to do like our test shoot. So he's like, hey, you know, I'm doing this project. He's doing something completely different. And he was like, hey, can you meet me at the spot? Like, you know, I'm finishing up this project, and then from there we can go to the Molly Brown house. And I was like, all right, cool. So he gives me this address to, it's like a brewery. Andrew's like the only dude sitting at the bar by himself. So I go up to him and I'm like expecting to just like, okay, hey, I'm here, like, let's go. So I just kind of stand there awkwardly and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, how you been? He's like, oh, hey. And he just kind of looks at me and we have like this awkward moment and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, come on, let's get up. I ordered some onion rings, so I'm just waiting for them to bring those out. I'm sorry. This is not snack time, okay? Like, we're here to scout. Like, I was so on my shit. I was not here to play. So I got kind of annoyed, and I hope that I like fixed my face, because a lot of times I cannot control my facial expressions when I'm not pleased with something. So I'm sure he saw like a little inkling of me being like, okay, girl, it takes like 10-15 minutes for these onion rings to come out, and they're freaking huge. And he is like, yeah, these are like the best onion rings in the city, and like they're handmade and da-da-da, right? I had never ever met a person in my life that was so obsessed with onion rings. You gotta try one, they're so big. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And he was like, Nikki, come on, just like try one, please, like just try one. And he's asking over and over and over again, and you know, like that, it gets to a point where you're like, okay, like if it just makes you shut up for a second, like, okay, take a bite into it. That was the best onion ring that I've ever tasted in my life. Anyway, so I actually end up like enjoying the onion ring. I take a second bite and I'm like, nom, 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 right? Meanwhile, this boy's phone goes off, okay? And it rings, and like, I'm just in my own world and I'm eating this onion ring. Hey, nothing, you know, I'm with a client right now. Why? He called a client? Okay, y'all, I can hear the person on the phone because he's like sitting right next to me. I can hear her, and it's 100% most definitely his girl, okay? Because she's asking all the questions. Okay, well, when are you gonna be home, and how long is it gonna take, and where are you at, and like, you know, just them questions. So immediately, like, I tense up because this kind of seems a little hostile. And, you know, I don't know their situation. And I really, listen to me when I tell you, I really don't want to be in any sort of mess. So I'm like looking at his face for confirmation, like, we good? Like, everything good? Like, you ready? Like, everything's chill? He repeated himself over and over and over. Like, this girl was, I don't know, there was some trust issues there. You could tell because she was like, wait, where are you going? And he was like, I already told you, the Molly Brown house. She was like, what the fuck is the Molly Brown house? And he was like, the Molly Brown house, like, you know, it's like a landmark, like, you know. And she was like, well, why are you going there? And he was like, because, you know, she has like this concept. And she was like, and who is this again? Y'all, and it's so weird to just sit there while two people are having a whole ass conversation about you, and you're just like sitting there with your big ass onion ring. You're just like, we go to the Molly Brown house. It's not that far. We go to the Molly Brown house, we walk around, we take a few little test shots. We kind of get like, you know, lay of the land. And he's like, yeah, this is definitely going to work. Well, when we were going back to our car, he was like, there's one more place that I wanted to just run past you. Like, I actually shot at this place not too long ago with like another one of my friends. He was like, and I like really think that you're gonna like it. And I was like, all right, cool. So we make a pit stop, and it's like right there, and it's another like landmark. It's one of these bigger houses, and it has these pillars, you guys, these big beautiful pillars. And the way that the light was coming in there, girl, it was beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, you should have told me about this place before. And you guys, I felt more in love with that spot than I did with the Molly Brown idea. And I was like, you should have just said that from jump. Like, this is great. This is perfect. We found it. Home skillet. He's already shot here before, so it's not going to be too big of a deal. So we end up switching the idea to go to this spot instead. Okay. He had sent photos that he had taken with his friend at that spot. He wanted to show me, like, you know, how pretty the lighting came in, and he was like, look at these shots that I got. shot at that spot. He had sent these pictures like minutes after we had left that day. So fast forward, I just kind of want to see the photos again, like remind myself of like how this looked, how this is going to look, where we're going to be shooting. So I go back, y'all, to the messages where he had sent me those pictures, you know, that he had taken. I am blocked. You hear me? I don't have this boy's number, like none of that. Absolutely not. So this was like my only means of communication with him. I don't know what's going on. Does this mean that it's canceled? I don't fucking know. So fast forward, and the night before we were supposed to have this shoot, I still have not heard from him, and I checked again and I'm still blocked. And so I was like, I just assumed that this shit was going to be canceled. Well, girl, literally, like, I don't remember what time it was, but it was after work. It was late. It was later. I get a message from Andrew, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it just shows up on my phone, and I'm so surprised because, like, what? I was blocked not too long ago. It's like, hey, you know, just confirming, you know, for tomorrow for the photos, like, I'll meet you at this time. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't think he knew that I knew that I was blocked for whatever reason, but, you know, he's confirming with me. So I was like, okay, yeah, like, yeah, I'll be there. And he was like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. Next day comes around. I have this, like, you know, long black dress. I feel like it was a two-piece, if I remember correctly. Like, I had a little bit of midriff showing. It was cute. And then, girl, I had these like dark blood red roses ordered from Amazon. I wanted to make a headpiece for Dia de los Muertos that year that I was gonna use them for. So I took one of them with me, and that was what I was going to be holding in my hand during the shoot, right? So here we go. I pack everything in my car. I do my hair, I do my makeup, I do like a darker, you know, makeup. Girl, my eyeliner was out to my temples. You hear me? I just kind of wait there. 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, and I'm like, okay, I start getting a little bit antsy. So I go back to Instagram and I DM him and I'm like, hey, I'm here, and no response. Another like 5 minutes goes by, and I was like, dude, like, I'm gonna give him 2 more minutes, and if he's not here, I'm leaving. And I was like getting so pissed. Nikki, I'm here, I'm sorry, I'm here. And he is like jogging up the street. He had to find street parking, and there are people that work in this house. It was like I said, it was like a landmark. I think it's like some sort of museum now. I don't remember, but there were people that worked there. And so as I'm like getting ready, there like this group of people come out, you guys, and I am sitting there with like this dark ass makeup, dark ass clothes, this fake ass flower in my hand, and I'm just like, hey. I swear it was like a group of like 7 or 8 people, okay? And they come out, and they're all in mid conversation, and they like see me, and they all just stop talking, and they're just like, you cannot do this and be embarrassed at the same time. It's impossible, okay? The majority of the group walks off, and this lady, she kind of breaks off and she stays behind, and then she walks over to me, and I'm like, fuck. Thank God this lady was so nice. You are more than welcome to take any photos that you want outside, anywhere on the property. She was like, but unfortunately, you cannot take pictures inside. So she takes off after that. She locks up, and she was like, yeah, you know, you guys have a good night. And she left us alone on the property to just take all the photos we wanted. And in the back is where like this row of pillars are that we're going to be taking these photos in, right? So we go over there, and he's, you know, doing some final changes on the settings of the camera. His phone starts ringing. I wait for it. The ringer goes off, and there's silence. So I'm like, okay. And I look back, and sure enough, he's still fiddling around with his camera. Okay, his phone starts ringing again. I'm trying not to make it awkward, but like, dude, this is weird. He silences his phone and puts it right back down and goes right back to his camera, and he's like, all right, no, that's perfect. He starts directing me. Just looking at him, and I'm looking at his phone, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, okay. So, you know, okay, fine, we're taking the pictures. And he's directing me, all right, move your arm a little bit. All right, let's move this way. We're trying to move along as the sun is going down, so the lighting is constantly changing. His phone starts ringing again. Girl, he don't even look that way. And this thing is just going off, and he's just like, okay, yes. And like, pick up your chin a little bit. Okay, great. And like, the phone going off. We're already onto another corner. We're like, I'm sitting down. His phone goes off again. 3, 4 times. I didn't say nothing, okay? But at some point, like, sir, it happens again, and his phone is going off. And I just can't. Like, what if there's an emergency? Like, hello? So I was like, Andrew, I'm so sorry, but like, are you gonna answer that? And he was like, no. Without even thinking about it, y'all, he puts his camera down. He was like, no. What if it's an emergency? He was like, it's not an emergency. Girl, he was just so matter of fact. He was like, it's okay. Just like let it go to voicemail. It's fine. Like I'll handle it in a little bit. Like I need to get this done. And he was just very stern and very focused. And I was like, okay, like who am I to argue? Like, okay. Y'all, this man's phone goes off and goes off and goes off and goes off. We go around to the other side of this property. We're taking other photos on the big porch, on the steps outside. He's showing me, you know, the preview of the photos, you know, just to kind of give me a feel. And I am so excited. Like these look like they came out amazing. And he was like, all right, so I'm just going to do a little color correcting and stuff. And then, you know, I'll send them to you probably like by next week, you know, but this was like a lot of fun, whatever. We're saying our goodbyes, okay? And we're kind of wrapping it up, putting a bow on. All of a sudden, his phone rings again. I can only keep my mouth shut for so long. Andrew, be so for real. I was like, is that your girl? How do you know? And I was like, I'm just guessing here. I was like, why don't you answer it? You know, I just don't really like appreciate some of the things that was said. And like, you know, it's just kind of personal. And I completely respect that. I was like, all right, well, you know, like, I hope it gets better. I was like, you should probably call her because like she seems worried. And he was like, she's not worried. She's just jealous. We're just going to leave that there. We're just going to leave that there. Okay. Because I do not want any sort of emphasis. I don't need any sort of meat and potatoes of that statement. We're just gonna leave that there. We're just gonna leave it right there and go on with our life. Thanks again so much for working with me on this. I'm so excited to see the pictures, you know, and this boy is gonna look at me and be like, hey, actually I got my laptop with me, it's in my car. Are you hungry? You want to go like get a bite to eat? You know, like, there's so many spots around here. There's actually one spot where it's like so good, and you know, I went there. It's like one of my favorites. I think you'll like it a lot. At this point he's like talking to himself, like he's not even letting me get a word in edgewise, and I am looking at him like, are you okay? And girl, it is getting dark. His girl has been blowing up his phone damn near this entire time. And his response is, I got my laptop. Do you want to go and grab a bite to eat? Basically dinner. You're not gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. My man's would not like that very much. You know, I'm having dinner with him. I am in a relationship as well. So like, don't fucking, like, what are you doing? See, that's admirable. That's called trust. Like, you guys have trust, because, you know, he hasn't called not one time that you've been out here. Like, trust, hell yeah. Like, you know, it'd be like that. All the accusations that really bug me. It almost makes me feel like, why do the right thing if you're just gonna be accused about it anyway? You know, if she thinks that little of me, well, then I might as well do it. So like, if you wanna go have dinner or whatever, like, I'm cool with that, and I'll deal with her later. I'm not having dinner with you. I was like, but is that why you're asking? Because you're mad at your girl? Well, if she thinks that I'm going to do that, well, then I might as well. Tell me I'm lying. Like, what sense does that make? Like, if you're gonna keep telling me that I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, like, well, then I might as well. Like, what's the difference? I'm still in trouble anyway. And I was like, I hope things get better. Just try to communicate through it. And y'all, I am literally taking steps away. And I was like, but I gotta go. Maybe call her. Try to work it out. Try to communicate. Let me know when the pictures are done. Like, have a good night. Get home safe. Okay, peace out. Like, straight up, y'all, he's like standing there on the edge of this street, just looking at me as I'm backing away. And I'm like, I literally had to pretend to have a sense of urgency. Y'all, David wasn't gonna be home for like another few hours anyways. That's neither here nor there. I made it seem like he's waiting on me now. He's waiting on me right now, and I need to go. So like, I'm so sorry this is happening, sir, but I gotta go. I got the photos back. They came out, I mean, they came out pretty good for the time that it was. And you know, y'all, it was like the pettiest behavior, where this boy for real like got so mad that his girl was questioning him about where he was and who he was with and like all that he for real tried to invite me to dinner. No, while his girl is blowing up his phone just because he's mad, just to prove a point. He was so sure about his like reasoning. He was so sure, very solidified in that. And he was just like, so we should go. Like, we should go, just go have dinner. And I was like, sir, I know you lying. Like, you got the wrong fucking person. She probably feels that way because you think this way, and because you are the type to go ahead and just do shit that you're not supposed to do just to make a fucking point. And he wouldn't even silence it. I was like, fine, you want to ignore somebody? Can you silence the phone? I think Miss Ma'am had a good reason to worry. I think she knew her man. She knew her man's. she knew her mans. Definitely one of the tamer, awkward stories that I have with working with photographers or like trying to find photographers. That whole world of just like trying to build our portfolio. You meet some interesting characters. That's all I'll say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it took your mind off of whatever is weighing heavy on you, which I know is a lot right now because this world is upside down and to the left, girls. So I love y'all very much, and I will see y'all very soon in another video. Keep your head up, stay safe. I love you, but God loves you more, and I will see your fine self in my next video. Peace out, y'all.